Welcome back to our chilling series exploring the haunted corners of America, where history and horror intertwine in ways that defy explanation. In this sixth episode of Most Haunted Roads in America, we delve deeper into the shadowy stretches of asphalt and gravel that crisscross the nation, roads steeped in tragedy, folklore, and spectral encounters. These are not just routes from point A to point B, they are conduits for stories of heartbreak, betrayal, and untimely death, where the echoes of the past linger long after the last traveler has passed. Roads, by their very nature, are liminal spaces, places of transition, movement, and uncertainty. They carry with them centuries of human experience, from pioneers forging westward trails to modern commuters speeding through the night. Yet beneath their mundane veneer lies a darker reality, one where the veil between worlds thins and the restless spirits of those who met their end along these paths refuse to fade quietly into oblivion. In this episode, we'll journey to some of the most infamous haunted roads across the United States, places steeped in lore and fear, where the past refuses to stay buried. We'll peer into the shadowy depths of desolate highways, explore eerie backroads cloaked in mist, and tread cautiously through stretches of pavement teeming with ghostly apparitions and unexplained phenomena. Along the way, we'll hear first-hand accounts from witnesses brave enough to confront the unknown, examine chilling evidence captured by paranormal investigators, and unravel the tragic histories that give rise to these hauntings. So dim the lights, keep your ears sharp, and prepare yourself for a descent into the macabre. As we step onto the haunted byways of America, remember, sometimes, the most terrifying truths lie just beyond the headlights, and once you cross that threshold, there's no turning back. Route 66, the mother road of mystery stretching over 2,400 miles from Chicago to Los Angeles. Route 66 is more than just an iconic highway. It's a living testament to Americana, nostalgia, and the open road. Known as the Mother Road, it served as a lifeline during the Great Depression, a symbol of freedom in the post-war era, and a muse for countless artists, musicians, and storytellers. Yet beneath its storied charm lies a darker undercurrent, one marked by accidents, disappearances, and spectral encounters that have earned it a reputation as one of America's most haunted roads. One of the most enduring legends tied to Route 66 involves the ghost of a hitchhiker known only as the Lady in White. According to local lore, she was a young woman who died tragically in a car accident near Oatman, Arizona, in the mid-20th century. Witnesses claim to see her standing on the side of the road at dusk, dressed in flowing white garments, attempting to flag down passing motorists. Those who stop report feeling an overwhelming sense of sadness emanating from her presence before she vanishes without explanation. Others describe seeing her reflection in their rearview mirrors moments after driving away, her face frozen in eternal anguish. Another prominent figure in Route 66's haunted lore is believed to be a truck driver named Jack, whose rig crashed into a ravine near Amarillo, Texas, decades ago. Paranormal investigators exploring the area have captured EVP recordings suggesting the presence of a male entity whispering phrases like, "Turn back," and "Don't go further." Witnesses describe seeing a phantom semi-truck barreling down the highway late at night, its headlights blazing but its cab empty. Some speculate that Jack remains tethered to the road due to guilt over failing to deliver his final shipment, while others believe his spirit seeks to warn travelers of impending danger. The stretch of Route 66 near Clinton, Oklahoma, has also gained a reputation for paranormal activity. Locals speak of hearing faint cries and screams emanating from the surrounding fields, believed to belong to victims of violent crimes committed along the isolated route. Travelers report seeing shadowy figures darting across the road, forcing them to swerve to avoid collision. One particularly unnerving account comes from a couple who swore they saw a blood-soaked man stumbling toward their vehicle, only for him to vanish when they stopped to help. Modern-day investigations into Route 66's supernatural claims have yielded intriguing results. Thermal imaging cameras reveal significant temperature drops in specific areas, including abandoned gas stations and roadside motels. Electromagnetic field (EMF) meters register unusual spikes, particularly near sites associated with fatal accidents or unsolved mysteries. Perhaps the most compelling evidence comes from audio recordings, which captured disembodied voices uttering fragmented sentences like, "Help me," and "I can't leave." Despite, or perhaps because of, its haunted allure, Route 66 continues to draw thrill seekers and history buffs alike. For those brave enough to traverse its winding lanes, the opportunity to encounter its spectral inhabitants adds an element of excitement and trepidation. Whether you're drawn by the allure of its nostalgic charm or the weight of its tragic legacy, Route 66 promises an unforgettable experience where the line between the living and the dead blurs, and the echoes of yesterday linger just beyond reach. Lover's Lane whispers beneath the moonlight nestled deep within the woods of rural Arkansas. Lover's Lane stands as a haunting reminder of youthful indiscretion and the consequences of forbidden love, a secluded dirt road lined with towering trees and thick underbrush, where couples once sought privacy and romance. Its picturesque setting belies a darker narrative, one marked by jealousy, betrayal, and murder. Over the years, this once idyllic retreat has become synonymous with tragedy, earning it a reputation as one of America's most haunted roads. One of the most pervasive legends tied to Lover's Lane involves the ghost of Emily Carter, a teenage girl whose life ended in heartbreak. According to local lore, Emily fell deeply in love with a boy named Matthew, despite her family's disapproval of their relationship. On a fateful summer evening in the 1950s, the couple decided to elope, meeting secretly on Lover's Lane to finalize their plans. However, Emily's older brother discovered their rendezvous and confronted them in a fit of rage. Tragically, Emily was struck and killed by her brother's car as she tried to flee. Visitors exploring the lane report hearing faint sobs echoing through the trees, accompanied by the sound of tires screeching. Some claim to see a translucent figure resembling Emily wandering aimlessly along the road, her expression frozen in eternal sorrow. Another prominent figure in Lover's Lane's haunted lore is believed to be the spirit of Matthew himself, who never recovered from losing Emily. Paranormal investigators exploring the property have captured EVP recordings suggesting the presence of a male entity whispering phrases like, "Forgive me," and "I'll wait." Witnesses describe seeing a shadowy figure sitting motionless on a fallen log, his head bowed as though consumed by grief. Some speculate that Matthew remains tethered to the lane, unable to move on until he finds closure with Emily's spirit. The surrounding woods, dense with foliage and shrouded in perpetual twilight, have also gained a reputation for paranormal activity. Employees tasked with maintaining the area often describe hearing muffled voices and the sound of footsteps crunching through leaves, though no one else is present. Objects are known to move inexplicably. Tools vanish only to reappear hours later in entirely different locations. One particularly unnerving incident involved a park ranger who swore he saw a group of shadowy figures huddled together in the corner of the clearing, their faces gaunt and hollow. Theories abound that the forest harbors residual energy from countless clandestine meetings and heated arguments that unfolded within its confines. Modern-day investigations into Lover's Lane's supernatural claims have yielded intriguing results. Thermal imaging cameras reveal significant temperature drops in specific areas, including the site of Emily's alleged death and the nearby creek bed. Electromagnetic field (EMF) meters register unusual spikes, particularly near antique vehicles believed to have been involved in historical incidents. Perhaps the most compelling evidence comes from audio recordings, which capture disembodied voices uttering fragmented sentences like, "I'm sorry," and "Let me go." Despite, or perhaps because of, its haunted allure, Lover's Lane continues to draw thrill seekers and romantics alike. For those brave enough to venture onto the road after dark, the opportunity to encounter its spectral inhabitants adds an element of excitement and trepidation. Whether you're drawn by the allure of its natural beauty or the weight of its tragic legacy, Lover's Lane promises an unforgettable experience where the line between the living and the dead blurs, and the echoes of yesterday linger just beyond reach. Devil's Tree. Shadows on Union Hill Road. Perched along Union Hill Road in New Jersey stands the infamous Devil's Tree, a gnarled oak tree steeped in legend and dread, said to be cursed by malevolent forces. This solitary sentinel, surrounded by barren earth and twisted branches, has become a focal point of terror for locals and travelers alike. Historical accounts suggest that the tree marks the site of numerous hangings, murders, and occult rituals dating back centuries. Today, it serves as a grim reminder of humanity's capacity for cruelty and superstition, drawing curious souls eager to test their courage against the unknown. One of the most enduring legends tied to Devil's Tree involves the ghost of Sarah Johnson, a young woman accused of witchcraft in the early 1800s. According to folklore, Sarah was lynched by an angry mob near the tree after being blamed for a string of unexplained misfortunes in the community. Her body was left hanging for days as a warning to others, ensuring that her spirit would remain trapped in the vicinity. Visitors exploring the area report hearing faint moans and cries emanating from the base of the tree, accompanied by the sound of chains rattling. Some claim to see a pale figure dangling from the branches, her wide eyes filled with terror. Others describe feeling an icy draft pass through them, as though Sarah's despair lingers in the air. Another prominent figure in Devil's Tree's haunted lore is believed to be a drifter named Jacob, who disappeared mysteriously in the mid-20th century. Paranormal investigators exploring the property have captured EVP recordings suggesting the presence of a male entity whispering phrases like, "Get out," and "Leave me alone." Witnesses described seeing a shadowy figure pacing anxiously near the trunk, clutching what appears to be a knife before vanishing without a trace. Some speculate that Jacob remains tethered to the tree due to guilt over committing unspeakable acts, while others believe his spirit seeks revenge against those who wronged him. The surrounding fields, once fertile farmland, have also gained a reputation for paranormal activity. Employees tasked with maintaining the area often describe hearing muffled screams and the sound of footsteps echoing through the deserted landscape, though no one else is present. Objects are known to move inexplicably. Tools vanish only to reappear hours later in entirely different locations. One particularly unnerving incident involved a farmer who swore he saw a group of shadowy figures huddled together in the corner of the field, their faces obscured by darkness. Theories abound that the land harbors residual energy from countless acts of violence and despair inflicted upon its soil. Modern-day investigations into Devil's Tree's supernatural claims have yielded intriguing results. Thermal imaging cameras reveal significant temperature drops in specific areas, including the base of the tree and the surrounding fields. Electromagnetic field (EMF) meters register unusual spikes, particularly near artifacts believed to have been used in occult practices. Perhaps the most compelling evidence comes from audio recordings, which capture disembodied voices uttering fragmented sentences like, "Help me," and "We're still here." Despite, or perhaps because of, its haunted allure, Devil's Tree continues to draw thrill-seekers and historians alike. For those brave enough to approach the site, the opportunity to encounter its spectral inhabitants adds an element of excitement and trepidation. Whether you're drawn by the allure of its ominous presence or the weight of its tragic legacy, Devil's Tree promises an unforgettable experience where the line between the living and the dead blurs, and the echoes of yesterday linger just beyond reach. Clinton Road, ghosts beneath the bridges winding through the dense forests of West Milford, New Jersey. Clinton Road is a desolate, two-lane stretch infamous for its eerie atmosphere and spectral encounters. Known locally as the most haunted road in America, it has earned its reputation through decades of strange occurrences, urban legends, and chilling tales of the supernatural. From ghostly apparitions to phantom vehicles, this remote thoroughfare seems to exist outside the bounds of normalcy, serving as a gateway to another realm where the past refuses to fade quietly into oblivion. One of the most pervasive legends tied to Clinton Road involves the ghost of a young boy who drowned in a nearby reservoir. According to local lore, the child fell victim to foul play in the mid-20th century, his body dumped into the water to conceal the crime. Since then, travelers have reported seeing a translucent figure standing on the edge of the bridge overlooking the reservoir, his expression frozen in eternal anguish. Some claim to hear faint splashing sounds emanating from below, accompanied by the sound of a child's laughter. Others describe feeling an icy hand brushing against their skin as they drive past, leaving behind an overwhelming sense of dread. Another prominent figure in Clinton Road's haunted lore is believed to be the spirit of a Ku Klux Klan member who perished in a fiery car crash near Dead Man's Curve. Paranormal investigators exploring the area have captured EVP recordings suggesting the presence of a male entity whispering phrases like, "Turn back," and You shouldn't be here. Witnesses described seeing a phantom vehicle barreling down the road late at night, its headlights blazing but its interior empty. Some speculate that the driver remains tethered to the road due to guilt over his involvement in hate crimes, while others believe his spirit seeks to intimidate those who dare trespass upon his domain. The surrounding woods, thick with underbrush and shrouded in perpetual twilight, have also gained a reputation for paranormal activity. Locals speak of hearing faint cries and screams emanating from the surrounding fields, believed to belong to victims of violent crimes committed along the isolated route. Travelers report seeing shadowy figures darting across the road, forcing them to swerve to avoid collision. One particularly unnerving account comes from a couple who swore they saw a blood-soaked man stumbling toward their vehicle, only for him to vanish when they stopped to help. Modern-day investigations into Clinton Road's supernatural claims have yielded intriguing results. Thermal imaging cameras reveal significant temperature drops in specific areas, including abandoned bridges and roadside clearings. Electromagnetic field (EMF) meters register unusual spikes, particularly near sites associated with fatal accidents or unsolved mysteries. Perhaps the most compelling evidence comes from audio recordings, which capture disembodied voices uttering fragmented sentences like, "Help me," and "I can't leave." Despite, or perhaps because of, its haunted allure, Clinton Road continues to draw thrill-seekers and history buffs alike. For those brave enough to traverse its winding lanes, the opportunity to encounter its spectral inhabitants adds an element of excitement and trepidation. Whether you're drawn by the allure of its mysterious charm or the weight of its tragic legacy, Clinton Road promises an unforgettable experience where the line between the living and the dead blurs, and the echoes of yesterday linger just beyond reach. Patterns across haunted roads, themes of tragedy and resilience as we traverse the haunted landscapes of America's most notorious roads. From the sprawling expanse of Route 66 to the desolate stretches of Clinton Road, striking similarities emerge that transcend individual locations and histories. These patterns are not merely coincidental but reflect universal themes of human emotion, unresolved trauma, and the enduring power of memory. From the wailing winds of desolate highways to the shadowed bridges of backcountry lanes, these sites share a commonality that binds them together in a spectral sisterhood of sorrow and suspense. One recurring motif is the concept of unfinished business. Whether it's the victims of violent crimes or the betrayed trust of lovers torn apart, these spirits seem tethered to the earthly realm by grievances left unaddressed. Their presence manifests as restless energy, often communicated through auditory phenomena, cries, whispers, or disembodied voices, that serve as pleas for acknowledgement or closure. This theme resonates across cultures and belief systems, reflecting humanity's innate need to resolve conflict and seek peace, even in death. Another shared characteristic is the role of geography in amplifying paranormal activity. Remote roads, with their labyrinthine curves, dense foliage, and hidden alcoves, create environments conducive to isolating individuals and heightening fear. These structural elements act as metaphors for the psychological barriers erected by those who suffered within their confines, trapping emotions such as anger, despair, and regret. It's no coincidence that many reported hauntings occur in spaces imbued with emotional significance: bridges where lives were lost, intersections where accidents occurred, or stretches of pavement where secrets were buried. Lighting and sensory manipulation also feature prominently in these narratives. Flickering headlights, sudden temperature drops, and inexplicable odors are staples of ghostly encounters, designed to disorient and unsettle. Such phenomena strip away the comfort of familiarity, forcing travelers to confront the unknown. The use of mirrors, a recurring element in stories from various haunted roads, adds another layer of psychological tension, as reflections distort perception and blur the boundary between self and other. This interplay of light and shadow becomes a tool wielded by unseen forces, creating moments of visceral terror that linger long after the initial shock subsides. Finally, the prevalence of historical context cannot be overstated. Each road's haunting is deeply rooted in its unique past, shaped by the socio-cultural milieu of its time. The brutal acts of violence embedded in the DNA of older routes contrast sharply with the glamorous yet tragic lives immortalized in urban legends. Yet, both narratives tap into broader archetypes of ambition, betrayal, and mortality, ensuring their resonance with audiences regardless of personal experience. By drawing on these universal motifs, these haunted places transform from mere roads into living repositories of collective memory, inviting us to peer into the abyss of our shared humanity. Thus, while each establishment boasts its own distinct flavor of fright, the underlying threads connecting them reveal a tapestry rich with meaning. These patterns remind us that the supernatural is not so much about the entities themselves but the stories they tell, the echoes of lives interrupted, passions extinguished, and truths obscured. As we continue to explore these haunted locales, we find ourselves grappling not only with the specters of the past but with the timeless questions they raise about life, death, and everything in between. The psychology of fear. Why haunted roads captivate us? What is it about haunted roads that grips our imaginations so profoundly? Beyond the creaking floorboards and flickering lights lies a deeper allure, one rooted in the psychology of fear and the human fascination with the unknown. These sites, by their very nature, are places of vulnerability. They are where we confront our mortality, stripped of autonomy and control, relying entirely on the expertise of others to heal us, or failing that, to ease our passing. When these spaces become haunted, they amplify our primal fears, transforming familiar settings into arenas of existential dread. The combination of historical context, architectural design, and the lingering presence of past suffering creates a perfect storm of terror that resonates deeply within us. At the core of this captivation is the concept of liminality, the state of being on the threshold between two worlds. Haunted roads exist in this liminal space, bridging life and death, safety and danger, certainty and uncertainty. This inherent duality makes them fertile ground for supernatural narratives. Ghosts, as manifestations of unresolved trauma or unfinished business, embody the tension of being caught between states. They serve as reminders that the boundaries we construct, between life and afterlife, sanity and madness, are far more permeable than we'd like to believe. For many, traveling a haunted road feels like stepping into a twilight zone where the rules of reality no longer apply, igniting both curiosity and unease. Architecturally, haunted roads contribute to this atmosphere of dread through their design. Long, desolate stretches lined with identical landmarks create a sense of disorientation, while poor lighting and echoing acoustics heighten sensory awareness. These features mimic the psychological effects of anxiety and claustrophobia, making even mundane sounds, a distant cough, the hum of fluorescent lights, feel ominous. The labyrinthine layouts of older structures, with their hidden wings and underground tunnels, evoke feelings of entrapment and uncertainty. Every corner becomes a potential threat, every shadow a possible harbinger of danger. This environmental manipulation taps into our instinctual fight or flight response, keeping us perpetually on edge. Cultural influences also play a significant role in shaping our fascination with haunted roads. Media representations, from films like The Blair Witch Project to television series such as Supernatural, have cemented the trope of the haunted road or backwoods trail as a locus of horror. These portrayals often blend historical truths with fictional embellishments, creating a mythology that blurs fact and fiction. Audiences are drawn to these stories because they reflect societal anxieties about institutional power, systemic injustice, and the fragility of the human mind. Haunted roads become microcosms of larger fears, the loss of agency, the misuse of authority, and the haunting specter of mistakes made in the name of progress. Moreover, haunted roads appeal to our desire for catharsis. Engaging with these tales allows us to process our own fears about mortality, injustice, and the flaws inherent in systems meant to protect us. By confronting ghostly apparitions and unexplained phenomena, we externalize internal anxieties, transforming abstract fears into tangible adversaries. This vicarious experience provides a safe outlet for exploring the darker aspects of human existence, offering both thrill and relief. It's no wonder that ghost tours and paranormal investigations of haunted roads attract participants eager to test their courage against the unknown. Ultimately, the enduring allure of haunted roads lies in their ability to mirror our deepest fears while challenging our understanding of reality. They remind us that the past is never truly buried, that pain and injustice leave indelible marks on both people and places. As we walk their haunted halls, we are forced to confront not only the spirits said to inhabit them but also the ghosts within ourselves, the regrets, doubts, and unanswered questions that linger long after the wounds have healed. In doing so, we find a strange comfort in knowing that we are not alone in our fears, that others have walked these same paths and emerged shaken but alive, to tell their stories. As we bring this chilling journey through America's most haunted roads to a close, one thing becomes abundantly clear: the spirits of the past refuse to be silenced. Each creaking floorboard, each whispered name, and each fleeting shadow serves as a testament to lives lived, lost, and lingering in the spaces we dare to call haunted. These stories are more than mere campfire tales. They are fragments of history, stitched together by human emotion, tragedy, and the relentless passage of time. They remind us that the line between the living and the dead is far thinner than we might believe, and that sometimes the most terrifying truths lie just beyond the veil. But why stop here? If these accounts have stirred something within you, a spark of curiosity, a shiver of excitement, I urge you to take the next step. Visit one of America's haunted roads yourself. Walk the same paths where spirits are said to roam, stand in the spots where history's echoes reverberate, and let the unknown brush against your senses. Whether you're a skeptic seeking proof or a believer eager to commune with the other side, these forsaken thoroughfares offer an unparalleled opportunity to confront the mysteries that lie just beyond comprehension. There's nothing quite like experiencing the weight of decades-old despair firsthand, feeling the chill of a presence that defies explanation, or hearing the faint strains of voices from another time. And when you return, share your story. Did you feel the icy touch of a ghostly hand? Hear the faint tap of footsteps in an empty corridor? Or perhaps nothing happened at all, but isn't that silence just as intriguing? Your experiences add to the rich tapestry of lore surrounding these haunted places, ensuring their legacies endure for generations to come. Share your findings with fellow enthusiasts, document your journey, and keep the conversation alive. After all, every whisper contributes to the symphony of the supernatural. Until then, keep your lanterns lit and your courage steady. The spirits are waiting.